Hey everyone, it's Aaron with Imperfect Impulses yet again. I know I've had a bunch of videos come out lately, but I've actually had time to do videos, so yay, loving it. This one I wanted to do on stencil making. I'm going to, for the purposes of this video, use the Vagabond to cut the shape out. But you can use your Cricut. If you have a deep cut blade, you'll want to use that. You may want to play around with the pressure settings because you will be cutting through a thick plastic. I find that using the blade at, I think, a 5 or 6, and then pressure high and speed low has worked the best. Intricate detailed designs don't really come out too terribly well, so simple shapes work pretty well on the Cricut. Any die cut will work as far as actual dies. So in this case I'm going to use the Tim Holtz weathered clock die and the Vagabond. And what you'll be using as your stencil material, because do not go out and buy all the expensive stencil making supplies. I did that and it was such a waste of money. The sticky on the back was not sticky enough, and by the time I actually used it, it was no longer sticky. So what we're using today is actual overhead transparencies. These work perfect as stencils because you get a box of, I think, 100 for $5 or $10 if you buy them on sale. And they'll last forever. I have taught classes and made my own stencils, and I use them to hold the stencils that I've made, and I still have plenty to go. So, at any rate, so first things first, let's die cut out our shape. And again, I'm using the Vagabond. You can use whatever die cutting machine you use. All right. Boy away. Now, for your stencil, the nice thing about the Vagabond is it gives a really good clean cut most of the time. With this acetate, you'll find that some cuts come out better than others. You may have to spend a minute cleaning it up. For instance, I'm having to pop out some of these little shapes, which is not uncommon when you're using a thicker material. Okay, once you get all those little shapes cut out, then you're going to want to put them in a box to spray them. Now I've already sprayed a little bit in this box so it sticks really nicely to the sides. What you're going to use is Krylon Easy Tack. It's a repositionable adhesive and it's awesome for stencils, and I'm getting it all over my Vagabond. And you just want a real light coat. And it dries very, very quickly. So, we're going to let that dry, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, it's been about a minute since I sprayed these, and what you want to do is you want to kind of prime this a little bit. So, what I did is I just took a plain piece of paper, and my hands are a filthy mess, so stuff is coming off. But you want to prime it. Try to get some of the tack off because they are very sticky. If you find them to be too sticky for your liking, use a little bit of the oil on your fingers to get them a little less sticky, because you can always spray more later. So, then, what you can do, you can either use a little bit of, I'm going to use some Dylusions London Blue. I love Dylusions if you didn't know. And apparently my Pure Sunshine spray bottle is broken. Well, I'm not happy about that. Ah, there we go. Let's get a little bit of blue and green mixage in there. And then we're going to take a towel. Roll that off. And you have to realize I'm using just plain old printer paper to show you this, so might have gotten a little bit of leakage, and we did. That's okay. Now, I also, somewhere around here, did one of the little hands. Well, it's missing. So, at any rate, so there's your stencil, and what I use to store it is I just stick it right on another piece of transparency, just like that, and it doesn't come off. And I have a binder that I use to store all of my stencils. This is one I cut out on the Cricut, and as you can tell, I've used it a lot, so it's losing its tackiness. But it's okay because I can spray it again. I have a plain old heart. Some of them you can use both the stencil and the masks, so the negative and the positive. I've also sprayed my Crafter's Workshop stencils. More stencils I've cut out from the Cricut. Most of these have been Cricketed. This was from Hobby Lobby, and again I just sprayed that repositionable adhesive, and it's made it a lot nicer to be able to art journal. So High Heel, have not used that one yet, but it's a lot of fun. Just be careful when you pull this off, because if you haven't primed it, they're really sticky at first, so they can rip. But the nice thing is you can always make more. You don't have to worry about going out and buying another expensive stencil. This is another one that I made on the using the Cricut. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.